It feels so bizarre to say this, but 2020 is almost over. We're around halfway through October right now, and October's obviously the 10th month in the year. All we have after this is November and December, and at least for me, December always flies by because of the holidays. So before we know it, it's gonna be 2021, and that's insane to say because I feel like, and I kind of feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people here, the past like 8 or 9 months have really kind of existed in like a time warp for me. Some days feel like weeks, and some weeks feel like days. Regardless, 2021 is super exciting. Nintendo always has the opportunity of having a good year. I mean, they have so many developers who work for them, so many incredible franchises they can pull from for different games. They can always have a good year if, they play their cards right. But there's something about 2021. I honestly think it could be the best year of the Switch's life yet. And that's not just me saying, I have a gut feeling. There are actually a lot of factors that apply to 2021 and only 2021 that make me think it's gonna be the year that, everyone will talk about long after the Switch has stopped being supported. So hey guys, it's Thomas from the Switch Stop, and this is why I think 2021 could be the Switch's best year ever. First thing I want to talk about is the COVID-19 delays. So it's no secret that COVID kind of really impacted Nintendo this year. I mean, they came out and said, COVID hasn't impacted us yet. Obviously, Nintendo will never straight up just come out and say, hey, yeah, this game was supposed to launch here, this was supposed to launch here, because they never really share their internal plans with us, but we know through a bunch of rumors that Pikmin 3 Deluxe was actually supposed to launch back around like April and May, which is crazy to think about. Obviously now it's coming out in October. On top of that, the Mario 3D Anniversary remaster, that whole entire Mario 35th Anniversary thing was supposed to start all the way back in March-ish. We know this from the 35th Anniversary website that they forgot to update something that included fine print for April 2020. Obviously then that direct got delayed all the way to September. So if Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Super Mario 3D All-Stars, 2 out of the 3 biggest Nintendo holiday titles, quote unquote, because obviously there's Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. If those 2 titles were supposed to happen earlier in the year, then what was supposed to be right now? Whatever was supposed to be coming out right now has likely been shifted back into, you guessed it, 2021. On top of that, we already know of a ton of upcoming titles for 2021. It's actually ridiculous how many we know of considering Nintendo likes to hold their cards close to their chest. Obviously, you got the games that people hope for every year, but 2021 I feel like is the first year we're saying I really think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year. I think that's actually reasonable in 2021 if you look at the timelines. It wouldn't happen until late 2021, but it's definitely possible. I feel like Bayonetta 3 has a high likelihood of coming out 2021, and then on top of that, you have all the games we know of confirmed for 2021, like No More Heroes 3, Bravely Default 2, a little indie game called Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. We already know of a bunch of 2021 games for Nintendo. I mean, obviously you also have games like Breath of the Wild 2, where Aonuma has recently said in that Age of Calamity trailer that they're working hard on Breath of the Wild 2, but they just need a little bit more time. That sounds to me like, hey, development's doing really well, they just need a little bit more to polish it up. That could easily be a winter 2021 title. There are so many games that we already know of that could definitely fit in 2021, or games that we know of are confirmed for 2021, that even if Nintendo didn't announce anything more, the year would already be pretty stacked. Speaking of those games we know of are coming, like Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, the spring for 2021 is already looking extremely stacked, because normally, once again, the spring slash I guess you would technically call it winter, but it's the winter from the previous year. I'm talking generally January through May-ish. Nintendo releases nothing. I mean, obviously, 2020 we got Animal Crossing in that time, which kind of, tided us over, so to speak. 2019, all we got during that time was Yoshi's Crafted World. They generally are just really slow at the start of the year, because obviously they want to make all that holiday money. But the start of 2021 is already looking packed, meaning that, hey, they must have a lot of stuff for the winter, because if they didn't, they would delay the games earlier in the year so they'd have something for the holiday, because something for the holiday is better than, something for earlier in the year. I'm talking games like, once again, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Monster Hunter Rise. There's another Monster Hunter, I think it's called Stories 2 Wings of Ruin, No More Heroes 3, Bravely Default 2, which I think is actually technically still supposed to come out in 2020, but, chances of that are very slim. And of course, there's always the games that you assume are going to come out, pretty early 2021, such as Hollow Knight Silksong, Pokemon Snap, Rune Factory 5, all that stuff. So the stacked spring forecasts a really nice 2021. However, there's one final thing. One big, gigantic, monstrous change to the Nintendo Switch lineup that honestly would mean that, 2021 is going to be, I think, par none the best year for Switch. That is the announcement and release of a Switch Pro. I think everyone can agree that this is going to happen. Not only have there been insane amounts of rumors, but it just makes sense. 2021 is going to be 4 years of the Switch. Obviously, 4 years, that's around the time that Nintendo would do a console revision. On top of that, it would come out just after the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The Switch Pro is super exciting for me because I love my Switch, but I just kind of, it's not the most powerful device in the world, and I'd really like to be able to play more, third-party games on my Switch. I just have no reason to get them on my Switch rather than my computer, because my computer can just, graphically just does so much more. But I love that portability, so I'd love for the Switch Pro to kind of not compromise as much on the graphical forefront. On top of that, I just like seeing Nintendo games look really good, like visually. I still remember the first time I saw Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, like it just looked so stunning, and I don't really think Nintendo games have always lived up to, what they could be visually. Like they look really good, but just in terms of pure graphical, what they're kind of pushing out on the Switch, they're in like Nintendo games that are 30 frames per second and sometimes dip under that, or that render at 500p while in handheld or even docked. It's just like, I don't like complaining about graphics too much, because obviously that's not what Nintendo stands for and not what they need or how they thrive. I just think that the Switch Pro will provide a really nice opportunity for Nintendo to not compromise as much in the graphical department, and on top of that, it would make it easier for third parties to develop for them. So that's just another point towards 2021, because man, the year is just shaping up to be crazy. Let me know down in the comments below if you're excited for the Nintendo Switch in 2021. If you liked this video, then like the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment down below letting me know your most anticipated game in 2021, and if it's not 3D World Deluxe, I will block you from commenting.